The cold tile presses against my cheek. My breath hitches, stolen by the sudden, sharp intake of air that feels like swallowing glass. It's not the sound from the open bedroom door that paralyzes me, not the rustle of fabric or the low murmur of voices. It's the name. Her name. Spoken with a casual intimacy that drills into my bones, followed by plans. Specific plans. A date. A destination. A week. And then the word that freezes the blood in my veins, turns the air to ice. The yacht. My family's yacht. My father's yacht, technically, but it's always been ours, a vessel woven into the fabric of my identity, the one constant through shifting seas. He's taking her on my yacht. For a week. The words echo in the hollow space where my heart used to be, a hammer blow against the fragile structure of my life. The house, silent but for their oblivious murmuring, feels like a tomb. I am invisible, a ghost in my own home, listening to the architects of my destruction discuss their luxury escape. Let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. It helps me more than you know. Life before this moment wasn't a fairy tale, not by a long shot. It was more like a well-maintained machine. Predictable. Comfortable. We had the house, the cars, the right friends, the annual trips. We had a rhythm built on shared history and mutual convenience, a comfortable, if slightly dusty, love. He was present. A little distant, perhaps, preoccupied with work, but isn't everyone? We went through the motions, shared the same bed, the same address, the same social calendar. It wasn't passionate fire, but it felt solid. Like bedrock. You build your life on bedrock. The yacht was part of that bedrock, albeit a shimmering, teak-decked, ocean-going piece of it. It wasn't just a boat. It was lineage. My grandfather bought the first one, a sturdy fishing vessel he upgraded over the years. My father inherited that love, expanding it into the beautiful, elegant cruiser we have now, the Serenity. It was christened the year I was born. Family holidays were spent on its deck, birthdays celebrated with salt spray in our hair. It was the silent witness to my life, tied to memories of laughter, quiet conversations with my dad, the taste of grilled fish eaten under the stars. It smelled of sun-baked fiberglass, diesel, and the clean, sharp scent of the open ocean. It wasn't his, it was ours. Part of the family trust, yes, but managed by me, my father having passed that baton years ago. It was my responsibility, my history afloat. Hearing him casually plan to share that sacred space, that vessel of my past and present, with another woman, it wasn't just infidelity. It was sacrilege. A violation that went deeper than the marriage vows. It felt like he was defiling a temple built of my most cherished memories. I stay on the floor, the cold seeping through my silk robe, long after their voices fade, after a door closes softly down the hall. My body is a statue, frozen in betrayal. My mind, however, is a chaotic storm. Denial screams first. No, imposible. A misunderstanding. A cruel joke. But the details, the destination, the date, her name, the yacht. There's no room for doubt. The storm turns to a crushing weight. Grief. Not just for the marriage, but for the carefully constructed reality I'd inhabited. The comfortable lie. It shatters into a million sharp pieces, each one a memory I now have to re-examine through this new, brutal lens. Were the distant evenings about work? The late nights? The business trips? The puzzle pieces of the last year or two suddenly snap into place, forming a picture so clear and so ugly it makes me want to claw my eyes out. The grief is quickly followed by a white-hot wave of anger.
How dare he?
How dare he take my yacht? The symbol of my family, my stability, my connection to my father, and use it as a love nest with his mistress? It's not just disrespectful, it's a calculated insult. A declaration that nothing I value is safe, nothing is sacred. He's not just cheating, he's looting the very foundation of my life. I don't confront him.
Not then.
The shock is too profound, the anger too raw. Part of me, a small, wounded animal part, wants to run and hide. Another part wants to explode, to unleash the fury building inside. But a colder, quieter part intervenes. Confrontation now would be emotional, messy. He would lie. He would deflect. He would twist it back on me somehow. I know him. He avoids conflict unless he's winning. And right now, he thinks he's winning. He thinks he's gotten away with it. He's sailing off, quite literally, into the sunset with his little secret. I stay silent. I move through the house like a phantom. I watch him. The way he packs his bags, whistling softly. The way he talks about the business trip, the seamless lie. He doesn't see the shift in my eyes, the glacial layer forming over the pain. He sees the same wife, slightly distant maybe, a little tired, but compliant. He is so utterly convinced of his own cleverness, his invincibility. It's repulsive. It's also a weakness I can exploit. I start digging. Not for proof of the affair. I already have that. I dig into the yacht. Its ownership structure.
The trust.
The legal documents. My father, a man of foresight and perhaps a touch of old-fashioned protectiveness, had set it up carefully. The yacht was legally distinct, held in a trust where I was the primary beneficiary and, crucially, the trustee with managing authority. My husband had access, yes, as my spouse, but he didn't own it. He couldn't sell it. He couldn't leverage it. And, as I discovered buried in the clauses, in cases of marital dissolution or financial distress impacting one spouse, my authority as trustee gave me significant, almost absolute, control over its use and disposition. It was mine to manage, mine to protect. From anyone, even him. The lawyer, a stern, efficient woman named Miss Peterson, listens with a face carved from granite. I lay out the situation, the betrayal, the planned trip. I show her the trust documents. Her eyes, sharp and intelligent, scan the pages. She looks up. It's complex, she says, her voice measured. He has marital access, yes. But the trust is ironclad. Your role as trustee gives you immense power here. The key is intent and purpose. If he is using an asset held in a trust managed by you, for a purpose detrimental to the trust's intent or your interests as beneficiary, you have grounds. Grounds for what? I ask, my voice barely a whisper. To reclaim the asset, she states plainly. To prevent its use in a manner you deem inappropriate or harmful. Especially if it's tied to actions that could be seen as depleting marital assets or leveraging trust property for personal, non-marital use. Taking it on a pleasure trip with a mistress, while potentially dissolving the marriage? That strengthens your position. The idea takes root, a dark seed in the fertile ground of my anger. Reclaim it, not just after the divorce.
But now.
While he's on it. The thought sends a jolt through me, a forbidden thrill mixed with terror. It's audacious. It's brutal. It's perfect. The legal hurdles aren't simple. It's maritime law, state law, the specifics of the trust. There are forms, notifications, procedures. It's not like repossessing a car from your driveway. It requires coordination, precision. The yacht needs to be in a location where a repossession agency has jurisdiction and the ability to board. The high seas are tricky. A foreign port? Even harder. It has to be somewhere accessible, predictable, and it has to be timed perfectly. I spend days, then weeks, immersed in this secret war. My home life is a performance. I smile, I nod. I listen to him talk about his upcoming trip. Each casual mention is a knife twist, but I steel myself. I ask innocent questions about his itinerary, his planned route, pretending interest, gathering intelligence. Where will he dock? For how long? Is he staying in territorial waters? My stomach churns with the deception, but the cold resolve burns brighter. He betrayed me fundamentally. This is not just about revenge, it's about survival. About showing him there are consequences, that I am not a passive victim. The emotional toll is immense. I sleep fitfully, my dreams a chaotic mess of crashing waves and his laughing face. I lose my appetite. The constant pressure of maintaining the lie, of planning something so potentially explosive, is like carrying a lead weight in my chest. There are moments of crippling doubt. Am I crazy? Is this too much? What will happen when he finds out? The fear is a tangible thing, a cold serpent coiled in my gut. My friends notice I'm off, distant. I brush them off, inventing stress at work. I'm completely alone in this, a secret agent in my own collapsing life. The plan crystallizes around his proposed itinerary. He's heading down the coast, planning a stop at a specific marina known for its beautiful surroundings and relaxed atmosphere, perfect for a romantic getaway. Crucially, it's within domestic waters, making the legal process infinitely simpler. He plans to stay for 2 nights before moving on. This is my window. The narrow, precarious window to strike. Ms. Peterson is cautious. Timing is everything, she warns. We need the order executed while the vessel is securely docked and verifiable. Once he leaves that jurisdiction, it becomes significantly more complicated, potentially impossible within your time frame. The pressure intensifies. I have to ensure the legal order is ready, the repossessors are lined up, and all the paperwork is in order, all timed for that specific 2-day window. It's a logistical nightmare built on a foundation of emotional wreckage. My life feels like a bomb I'm trying to defuse, the wires tangled, the clock ticking. The day before they are set to leave, I feel like I'm going to crack. The performance is wearing thin. I see him packing his favorite sailing gear, his face alight with anticipation of days spent with her on my yacht. A wave of nausea washes over me, so intense I have to excuse myself, pretending a sudden illness. I lock myself in the bathroom, gasping for air, the carefully constructed dam of my composure threatening to burst. Is this worth it? The pain, the stress, the risk? What if something goes wrong? What if he finds out before it happens and retaliates? The serpent in my gut tightens its coils. Everything feels lost, precarious, on the brink of total collapse. My life is a ruin, and I'm standing in the rubble, contemplating pushing over the last remaining wall. But then I catch my reflection in the mirror. My eyes are wide, haunted, but in their depths, I see a flicker of something else. Not just fear, not just pain, determination.
Stark, unyielding.
I remember finding the documents. I remember Miss Peterson's words. Your role as trustee gives you immense power. Here, this yacht, this symbol, is mine to protect. Not just from rust and storms, but from desecration. From him. This isn't petty revenge. This is reclaiming a piece of myself he tried to steal and defile. This is survival. I take a deep breath, the cold tile floor steadying me. The decision solidifies, hard and sharp as diamond. I am doing this. There is no going back. The fear doesn't vanish, but it recedes, replaced by a cold, focused calm. The bomb is ticking, but I'm no longer trying to defuse it. I'm aiming it. The hours leading up to his departure are excruciating. I watch him carry bags to the car, the duffel I know contains his sailing clothes, the cooler for drinks. My phone is a lifeline, buzzing with updates from Miss Peterson's office. Paperwork is being finalized. The repossession agent is confirmed. They understand the situation. A civil matter, a trust asset, a spouse misusing property. They are discreet professionals, they assure Miss Peterson. They will board the vessel based on the court order, secure it, and sail it back to a designated port under my authority as trustee. It sounds so clinical, so detached. He kisses me goodbye, a peck on the cheek, his mind already miles away, already on the water, already with her. Be back in a week, he says, his eyes already glazing over with vacation mode. Have a good trip, I reply, my voice flat, emotionless. He doesn't notice. Or perhaps he does, and simply doesn't care. He drives away. I stand on the porch, watching the car disappear down the drive, the keys to my yacht in his pocket, the mistress in the passenger seat. The air feels heavy, pregnant with the unspoken, the undone. I go inside. The house is unnervingly silent. I check the tracking app once subtly installed on a spare phone I lent him for the trip, a just-in-case gesture he barely registered. The small boat moves steadily towards the marina. The yacht's GPS transponder, which I monitor separately, confirms its location once they board and set sail. They are underway. The waiting game begins. Days crawl by like wounded animals. I go through the motions of my own life. Work, errands, meals I barely taste.
My phone is constantly in my hand.
I track the yacht's progress. I exchange terse emails with Miss Peterson. They reach the target marina. They dock. My window is open. Miss Peterson confirms the order has been served to the local authorities, passed to the maritime repossession agent. They are proceeding. It's happening.
Now.
I sit in my office, ostensibly working, but my eyes are glued to the screen. The blue, representing the Serenity, sitting placidly in the marina slip. Time stretches, elastic and thin. Every minute feels like an hour. I imagine it, the knock on the hull, the agent boarding, his face when they tell him, her face, the sheer, gut-wrenching humiliation, the loss of control. This wasn't supposed to happen. He was in control. He had the Mistress, the yacht, the secret trip. He held all the cards. And now, the deck is being swept out from under him. Then, a call comes. Not from Miss Peterson. From a number I don't recognize. I hesitate, my heart hammering against my ribs. I answer. It's the harbormaster at the marina. His voice is clipped, professional, reporting an incident. Are you the registered trustee for the vessel, Serenity? Yes, I manage, my voice trembling slightly. We had an issue. Repossession agents boarded your vessel approximately 30 minutes ago, presenting a valid court order. The gentleman and his companion who are on board, well, they weren't expecting it. He describes the scene. The confusion. The shouting. My husband's disbelief. He argued, he threatened, he demanded to see the paperwork, insisting this was illegal, a mistake. The agents, calm and authorized, showed him the order, the trust documents naming me as trustee, detailing my legal right to reclaim the asset. The harbormaster pauses, then continues, his tone shifting slightly, a hint of discomfort. Ma'am, the gentleman, he became quite distressed, very agitated. He started shouting about you, about this being impossible. And then he just collapsed, right there on the deck. Medics were called. He's being transported to the local hospital now. He collapsed. The words hang in the air. My husband, proud, arrogant, always in control,
Collapsed.
on the deck of the yacht he stole for his romantic getaway. Caught red-handed, stripped of his carefully constructed facade, his secret life exploding in his face, exposed for the liar and cheat he is, right there, on the very stage of his betrayal. The win he thought he had, the successful deceit, the luxurious escape, evaporated in an instant, replaced by public humiliation and the stark reality of his loss. The boat he treated as his own, taken from under him by the woman he betrayed, using the very legal framework she controlled. He was completely blindsided. He didn't just lose the boat. He lost his power, his narrative, his carefully guarded image, all at once, in the most definitive way possible. I listened to the harbormaster detail the yacht being secured, prepped for transport back under the repossession order. I thank him, my voice steady now, oddly calm. I hang up the phone. I don't feel triumphant. Not fully. There's a cold satisfaction. Yes, a sense of justice served, of equilibrium restored. But there's also emptiness. The sheer scale of the betrayal, the collapse of the marriage, the public spectacle, his physical breakdown. It's not a clean victory. It's messy, painful. The yacht is mine again. It arrives back at its home marina a few days later, a ghost ship. I go to see it. It smells different now. Fainter, but I can still imagine the lingering sense of sunscreen, alcohol, their presence. It feels tainted. A beautiful thing used for an ugly purpose. The divorce proceeds quickly, fueled by his public disgrace and the clear evidence of his infidelity and misuse of assets. He doesn't contest much, his spirit apparently broken by the yacht incident. The mistress disappears from the picture entirely. The gossip is brutal, but somehow, I am shielded by the sheer audacity of what happened. People talk about him, about his downfall, about the woman who got her yacht back. I become less the wronged wife, more the quiet, formidable woman who calmly and legally took back what was hers, right in the middle of his triumphant deceit. The yacht sits in the marina. I walk its deck, tracing the familiar lines, the polished wood. It holds the weight of its history, the good, the bad, the recent ugly. It's still beautiful, still majestic. But it's different. I am different. The emotional closure is complex. I won. I reclaimed the physical asset, yes. But more importantly, I reclaimed my agency. I refused to be the passive victim. I fought back, not with tears or shouting, but with cold logic and legal process. I used the power I had been given, the responsibility I had carried, to protect what was mine. It was a victory built on rubble, a phoenix rising from ashes, but the scars remain. What did I learn? That trust is a fragile thing, easily broken. That betrayal cuts deeper than you can ever imagine. And that sometimes the quiet accumulation of responsibility, the boring legal details, the trust documents you barely look at, can become your greatest weapon when everything else is gone. The yacht isn't just a boat anymore. It's a monument. To betrayal, yes, but also to resilience. To the quiet strength of a woman underestimated, who used the very foundation of her past to navigate the storm of her present and sail towards a future she had to build anew. I kept the yacht. I thought about selling it, cleansing the space. But it's mine. It was always mine. And maybe, with time, the salt spray and the wind will scrub away the taint, leaving behind only the memories that truly matter. The ones built with my father, on the open sea, under the vast, indifferent sky. If this story hit close to home, I'd love to hear your version. Drop a comment with where you're listening from and what time it is. Thanks for being here. Subscribing helps bring more of these to life.